Since its release in November last year, everyone is so obsessed with ChatGPT, to the point that they've stopped talking to real people. Today, we'll learn how ChatGPT works as told by ChatGPT itself. And make sure you stay tuned to the very end, where you'll see a video that's been made using a script that ChatGPT gave me. So let's get started. I'm Samanvay, a data scientist living in Sydney, Australia. Now, what is ChatGPT? ChatGPT is a language model that uses deep learning to generate human-like text to prompts given to it. It's built by OpenAI, a research organization founded in 2015, with the goal of promoting and developing a friendly AI that benefits humanity. So how does ChatGPT work? The first step to understanding ChatGPT is using it. It's as simple as Googling it, navigating to ChatGPT, and signing in with your Google email address. After a few back and forths conversation with ChatGPT, here's what I understood. ChatGPT consists of two parts. The first part is the language model, and the second part is reinforcement learning. Let's talk about the language model to begin with. The language model used by ChatGPT is called a transformer. This is a type of deep learning model that was created by Google in 2017. It consists of an encoder and a decoder. The encoder is responsible for generating the vector embeddings of the input sentences. Vector embeddings are numerical representations of the text. The decoder then takes in the numerical embeddings to then generate a response to the input that you've given it. Now, this is obviously a gross simplification, and there's heaps of videos out there that go into a bit more detail in how the encoders and decoders work. And I'll leave a couple of videos in the description below. Now, there are two key innovations that make transformers really successful. The first is positional encodings. This basically means that when sentences are fed into the encoder indexes the position of each word. This is an effort to hold a little bit of a context as the words are turned into a numerical encodings. Now, the second innovation, which makes transformers quite amazing, is the self-attention mechanism. This is the practice of quantifying the importance of surrounding words for each word in the sentence. These importance values are baked into attention matrices that are used in the transformer. This is yet another way of holding context of the different words in a given sentence. If you're enjoying the video so far, then consider subscribing. I make weekly videos to demystify data science. So now we know how the language model works. Now let's talk about the second part of creating ChatGPT, and this is reinforcement learning. So reinforcement learning is a technique to improve the language model such that it's giving us reasonably accurate responses based on the input ChatGPT gets. Now, this is better explained by the infographics provided by OpenAI themselves. Step one is training the model, which is done by a process called supervised learning. Labelers will start off by writing responses to sample prompts. These answers and prompts are then fed into the model, which then learns how to generate answers to given prompts. Step two is to take the outputs of the model and rate them from the most accurate to the least accurate. This is again done by labelers. These ratings are then used to train a rewards model. This reward model will basically rank the different responses of ChatGPT and give it a score. So if ChatGPT is asked, what's the weather like in Sydney? The reward model will know that the more accurate answer to this is it's 23 degrees in Sydney rather than I ate pancakes for breakfast. Step three is where the language model is improved using reinforcement learning, which is using a model called proximal policy optimization. So that in simple terms is how ChatGPT works. So what are a couple of applications for ChatGPT and how might you use it on a daily basis? Some of the best uses of ChatGPT is summarizing text, creating chatbots, getting starter code for making basic apps, asking it factual questions, translating languages or text, writing blog posts or stories, and writing social media posts. Whilst ChatGPT is pretty cool, it's by no means God. It has some serious limitations, and the most important one is that it's limited by the data it's been trained on, which is only up to 2021. And obviously all of that generated data is being fed and created by humans, and it can also be relatively inaccurate. In saying that, I would avoid asking it any sensitive questions, as well as asking it specific specific company-related questions, because in doing so, you might be breaking some confidentiality laws, because everything that you ask ChatGPT is going to end up in the cloud outside of your control. Now, the part that you've all been waiting for. So I mentioned earlier that I would finally showcase a video that the script of which was made by ChatGPT. Well, that was a little bit of a lie, because this whole video you've been watching was actually made by ChatGPT. Here's a screen recording of how it came to be. Now granted, ChatGPT didn't write a very detailed script, but you can see that I followed the basic structure of how this video would be laid out and added in some more details as needed. But a lot of that information was also slightly scripted by ChatGPT. So hopefully you can see from this use case that ChatGPT is a game changer, especially for creators. In using ChatGPT, none of us will ever be facing a writer's block. So that's it for the video. If you enjoyed it, then smash that like button and I'll see you next time.